God kills all of us at some point, and he's the only one that can resurrect us. So we don't have the right to murder people, but God has the right to kill people anytime he wants.
Good day, guys. Welcome back to Christianity in Modern Days. My name is Kazamulam Tuman once more. Touch not my anointed ones and to my prophets no harm. In this channel, we touch the anointing. So if you've been wondering whether God commits murder or he just makes people to change state from being a mortal being to being a spiritual being, then you've come to the right place. As today we'll be discussing the issue of atheism, and we'll have Abel Damina getting to explain some of the issues, and we'll also have a particular doctor getting to explain some of the issues of how God does not commit murder, how people don't go extinct, don't actually die, they just change state. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it.
Dr. Tarek, God commanded you to murder your wife or children to prove your faith in God. Is your current devotion not enough to prove your faith? Must you murder your children as Abraham was instructed?
So the issue there the young men have with God is that Abraham was instructed by God to kill Isaac, so that after he had killed Isaac, he would have proved his devotion to God. So we're going to take a look at Abel Damina's thoughts. Let's kind of play a small clip of him, how he views the issue of Abraham and the story of Isaac. Let's get right into it before the doctor in question start answering the question of the young man who asked, do you have to kill your son to prove your devotion to God?
Was that not drama? Abraham knew that Isaac would not die now. You go school. Abraham told the boys, I and the young lad shall go yonder and we shall come back. What is that?
First of all, I don't know what I would do.
So according to Dr. Abel Damina, Abraham knew that Isaac will not die. Abraham knew that Isaac will not die. That's why he ended up saying, I and the young man will go and we will come back. So Abraham, by that statement alone, it shows that Abraham had confidence that indeed Isaac will not die. He trusted God that Isaac was not going to be killed at that moment. So let's get to listen to the argument between the young man and the doctor. I think it's Dr. Turek who will be answering the young man's question. And then after then, we'll take a look at Abel Damina's full statement on the basis of the story of Abraham and Isaac. So let's get right into it.
This is a simple yes or no question, Doc.
I don't know what I would do in Abraham's position. That's a good question. You know who really struggled with that? Soren Kierkegaard, who wrote a book called...
Is your faith strong enough to murder your own children
Cody,
or wife?
I'm thinking, and since I'm from New Jersey, it's really hard for me to do, so give me a minute. The book is called Fear and Trembling by Soren Kierkegaard. So I don't know what I would do, just like I'm never going to say if somebody put a gun to my head or a gun to my wife's head, what would you do? Because Peter tried that. I'll never deny you, Lord. And what did he do?
He denied him 3 times. Yes, at the crucifixion.
I don't know what I would do, okay?
So the young man is an atheist, but he actually reads the Bible and understands some of the scriptures. So the doctor here is asked, what will you do in a situation like that? So the doctor says, I will not make promises. I don't know what I will do, because if I say I will stand in the way to protect my wife, then and then the people does come for real to point gun at me, then I ended up not doing it. So I'm not sure of what I will do in such situation. It makes perfect sense not to be sure in such situation. So let's continue and see as more questions pops up from that young man there who happens to be an atheist.
Okay, but let me point out, if your friend is an atheist, there's nothing wrong with God doing anything, because by atheism, there's no standard of right and wrong anyway. So in order for you to bring up the objection, you're actually stealing a standard from God in order to try and say God doesn't exist.
Dr. Tarek.
I like the doctor's answer there, that in atheism, there's no standard by which we determine what's wrong and what's right. In religion, right, there's a standard by which we measure what actually is wrong and what is it that is right. You understand? Because God is what is righteous, right? And the devils and the demons are what's wrong, right? So if you are committing evil, you cannot commit evil in the name of God. You cannot commit wrongdoings in the name of God. You are committing them in the name of Satan. So in atheism, where you don't believe in demons, you don't believe in spirituality, you don't believe in anything, there is no way to base you to have a basis of saying this is wrong or this is right. I think I like the answer there from the doctor. We applaud him for that, for giving that correct answer there. So let's continue and see what we have.
I'm only asking if you would murder your wife or children to prove your devotion. It's a simple question.
I don't know what would happen. And by the way, when God decides that someone should die, it's not murder for him. Because God kills all of us at some point. And he's the only one that can resurrect us. So we don't have the right to murder people, but God has the right to kill people anytime he wants. He can strike me down today, tomorrow, anytime he wants, and it's completely in his prerogative.
God.
Exactly. I agree with the doctor's statement once more. Remember that Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. There is no other way through the Father except through me. So what Jesus was trying to say is, he is the resurrection and the life. He is the only founder of a religion who said, I shall die and I shall rise again. You understand? Jesus is the giver of life, which shows us that God is the giver of life. So God is the creator of the earth and the universe and everything that breathes inside that earth and the universe. So God cannot possibly kill a person. If God kills you today, you are not actually dying. You only change state. You understand? So let's continue then, see what we have.
God has the right to slaughter the Amalekites down to the last man, woman, and child.
God has the right to take us out anytime we want, because if Christianity's true, men don't really die, we just change location. And God can do that anytime he wants. So thank you for your question.
It is stunning to me that massacre and genocide gets applaud in this building.
I think the young men in question have not yet understood that God is the giver of life. God is the giver of life. God is the standard. God cannot commit murder. The young man still thinks God is a mortal, like him and I, like him and the doctor. God is not a mortal. When your fellow creations takes your life, if your fellow creations takes your life, then you die, right? But then, if you are a Christian, you only change state. You don't get to die. You change state. When we say people are going to heaven and whatnot, we change state. You cannot ascend heavens in a mortal body. Mortal bodies are meant to live on earth. So the young man in question have not yet understood the base that God is the standard. God cannot commit murder. Let's continue.
God
Cody.
demands slaughter, massacre,
All right.
and genocide.
All right, Cody, there's nothing wrong with genocide if atheism's true.
Exactly. So here we get to understand again that if the young man in question understand the portion of genocide, as he's saying, he is perplexed as to how genocide gets to be uploaded inside that building, right? If he knows that there's genocide and then there's no genocide, it means he can differentiate between wrong and right. But then if he's an atheist, how is it possible that he can still say that something is wrong and something is right? Being an atheist, there's no base to measure what's wrong and what's right. That's the ball of contention there.
Are you serious?
If atheism's true, there is nothing wrong with genocide.
I am an atheist and I oppose genocide in every possible, in every way.
But that's just your personal opinion, because there's no standard beyond you which says it's wrong.
The standard that says is correct, that I will help my fellow human up to and including you, especially you, doctor, that I would never harm anyone in this room.
Okay, I'm glad.
Atheism.
Cody.
Are you suggesting that atheism allows or purports or wants genocide?
Atheism,
I know you wouldn't say. You would never say that.
Yes, atheism does allow it. You can ask Mao. You can ask Stalin. You can ask Pol Pot. Because if there is no authority beyond the government, they are God.
If we don't have the ability or the base in which we are measuring what's wrong and what's right in atheism, right? It means there's no way in which we can say murder is wrong or murder is correct. That's standard. That's what the doctor is trying to. That's the point that the doctor is trying to pass there. There's no way for us to tell that murdering somebody is good or it's wrong. But in religion, we know that committing a murder is a sin and it's wrong. But that context there does not apply to God. God and man are not on the same age. We are not age mates with God. We are not age mates. No matter how old you are not an age mate to God. God and man are not on the same standard. God is the giver of life. So the issue of murder does not apply when it comes to God. So here, the young men have not yet understood that in his atheism state, he cannot be able to distinguish what's wrong and what's right. The moment he'll be able to distinguish what's wrong and what's right, then you have entered a specific religion. You understand? Unless if atheism is a religion.
I could not possibly agree. I could not possibly disagree that those people were atheists. But as Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens would both argue, as you well know, none of those people slaughtered millions in the name of atheism.
I think somebody tagged me yesterday about something that was trending. That I said all those things Abraham then were doing was drama. Is it not drama?
So here we get to take a look at the issue of Abel Damina. Abel Damina is now going to explain to us in full the clip that we played at first there, when Abel Damina was actually talking about the drama that transpired between Abraham and Isaac.
What is types and shadows? These people have just been messed up by their pastors, and even the pastors are messed up, man. They can't even think. And some of them, it's not just that they are messed up, it's just that they can't understand why it's Abel Damina. Was that not drama? Abraham knew that Isaac would not die now. You go school. Abraham told the boys, I and the young lad shall go yonder and we shall come back. What is that?
So that was the first clip that we played. Abraham knew that him and the boy will go and will come back alive.
We have work, and we are up to it. Age is on our side. Kibadaba. Was that not drama? Abraham said, I and the young lad shall go yonder to worship, and we shall come back. Jesus said, I'm going to die and I will rise. We shall go and we shall come back. That was Abraham's faith acted out in the resurrection of Christ.
So Abraham knew that Isaac will not die in the altar that they are going. It was in his faith that Abraham knew that Isaac will not die. He believed in the resurrection of Christ, because it is written in the Old Testament that Christ will come and he will die for the sins of men. He will die and rise. I'm the resurrection and the life. Whosoever believes in me shall not perish. Let's continue and hear Abel Damina as he continues to explain to us.
CRK, God will not forgive you. Abraham believed in the promise of the resurrection. And because he saw it from afar, he dramatized it. He acted it out as a mode of communication with Isaac. Abraham was strong in faith, being fully persuaded that faithfully he is he who promised, who was able also to perform. So since God is the performer, Isaac will not die. We will come back.
So that was it from us, guys, as you get to learn that in the story of Abraham and Isaac, according to the young man who said, Abraham, will you commit murder in order to prove your faithfulness to God? Right, that was the story, the question of the young man to the doctor. So Dr. Abel Damina here gets to answer by showing us that Abraham knew that Isaac was not going to die. He knew that the promise of dying and being resurrected again is a promise that God made and God will fulfill. It does not change today, it does not change tomorrow, and it will not change forever. Whatsoever God says, He will and He shall fulfill. When Jesus says, I will die and I will rise, He did die for the sins of men, and He did rise again on the third day, obviously. So when He said, I am the resurrection and the life, He meant He was the resurrection and the life. The representation of God on earth was in the person of Jesus. So I think it's high time we start to understand that the issue of murder, when it comes to the context of God, does not apply as in the context of common human beings. You understand? My name is Kazambulam Tuman once more, and I will be glad to hear your thoughts in the comment section. With that, I am out. See you in the next one.